There's a glimmer of hope that the nation's longest shutdown could finally come to an end. Last night, the Senate cleared a key procedural vote that could actually lead to the government reopening. We're going to have the latest from Washington, D.C. Then, community meetings are scheduled to allow residents to hear directly from the Texas Gas Service about its proposed rate hike and the potential impact on local rate payers. How you can be a part of that discussion. And I know it was a little chilly last night. It was chilly this morning, but Robert is saying it's starting to warm up again. Robert. Hey,
Monica, it's back to the 80s again before you know it. But hang on, find the winter coat because a significant storm hits this weekend. I'm going to have your detailed forecast. We're live on KTSM 9+, and your news starts right now.
You're watching KTSM 9 News First at 4. Starts right now.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in to KTSM 9+, your digital newscast. I am Monica Cortez. We do begin with a traffic alert this afternoon. So all lanes are now open at I-10 East at Porfirio Diaz following a crash this afternoon. According to TxDOT, the crash involved at least 2 cars. Right now, seeing a live picture of the scene where traffic backup was all the way to Schuster only moments ago before all lanes reopened. No word yet on how the crash happened or if anyone was hurt. We do want to take you outside also using our TxDOT cameras, and this is going to be a visual of what is going on from a bird's eye view. And yes, there is a little bit of congestion out there, but you know what? Traffic is flowing smoothly, maybe just a little slower than usual, so make sure you're taking extra time as you head on out to avoid any major delays. In other news, there's new hope for ending the country's longest government shutdown. Take a listen.
The American people have suffered for long enough. Let's not pointlessly drag this bill out. Let's get it done, get it over to the House so that we can get this government open.
Now, that was Senate Majority Leader John Thune speaking on the Senate floor this morning. Now, Senate leaders say they will finally have the votes for a short-term funding deal. Washington correspondent Rashad Hudson joins us now with what's next.
A final vote on the new agreement to end the record-setting government shutdown could happen as early as tonight. It does not include an extension of the ACA subsidies that Democrats say they were fighting for, and that created a rift in the party. Democrats are at odds over a compromise moderates negotiated over the weekend to end the 41-day government shutdown.
The last 41 days have exposed the depths of Donald Trump's cruelty.
Despite that division, supporters like Senator Dick Durbin say this proposal is the only realistic path forward.
Many of my friends are unhappy. They think we should have kept our government closed indefinitely to protest the policies of the Trump administration.
The bipartisan framework would fund the government through the end of January, fund SNAP and other benefits for the entire year, and the deal also reverses the mass firings of federal workers during the government shutdown.
And I'm grateful that the end is in sight.
If approved by the Senate, the package heads to the House, which has been out of session since September 19th. Speaker Mike Johnson says he's ready to act quickly.
To all my colleagues, Republicans and Democrats in the House, you need to begin right now returning to the Hill.
Meanwhile, air traffic controllers just missed their second full paycheck, forcing many to call out sick.
These are real people.
That led the FAA to order a reduction in air traffic, canceling or delaying thousands of flights. The deal also guarantees back pay for federal workers that had been furloughed. Now, lawmakers hope to have the federal government back open by the end of the week. Reporting in Washington, Rashad Hudson, back to you.
Rashad, thank you so much for that. Well, Texas Gas is hosting the first of several meetings today to explain why they want to increase the tax rate 27%. And according to the city of El Paso, Texas Gas is merging several of its services across the state, resulting in higher bills. Texas Gas Service says that they will host a series of community meetings across the Borderland to explain its proposal and to answer questions from the El Pasoans about how the increase could affect affect your monthly bills. 2 meetings are going to be taking place today. One is going to start at 5 and the other is expected to start at 7, with other meetings following through the week. For the list of locations and times, you can simply visit KTSM.com. Our Diana Castillo is, of course, going to be at one of those meetings tonight, and she's going to have a lot more for us coming up at 5. Let's go ahead and talk about weather, as that is another big headline everyone's been talking about. So this morning it felt very chilly. I almost thought I wore the wrong outfit, maybe thinking of getting a thicker jacket, but things are starting to warm up quite nicely. Robert Bettis is joining us now. Robert, all right, so what's the deal? Why are we going up and down in these temperatures?
We're getting closer and closer to winter. We got to cool down at some point during the year. We certainly did last night, and you know what, Monica? I actually think we're going to be a little bit colder overnight tonight. Last night, I talked about at 10 o'clock how the breeze was still keeping things mixed, and it kept us fairly mild, 41 at the airport. We did drop down to 32 Las Cruces, 36 Deming, and 32 in Silver City. So many towns in New Mexico did pass that freezing point. However, for us tonight, because the winds will be much, much lighter, clear skies, I'm dropping us to 39 at the airport, 34 down in the valley tonight. Here are the high temperatures so far today. I predicted 70. We'll see if we pop up to that. That's why I encouraged you to dress in layers, because the morning, yes, chilly and blustery, but the afternoon, oh, so good. Satellite radar composite shows clear skies, and here's a quick look ahead. Tomorrow we're going to bounce up to 79 degrees and then into the 80s for a couple of days. Enjoy those 80s, because boy, that is changing on Saturday. I shall have your forecast in just a bit. Monica.
Well, in developing news, a 58-year-old man has died after he was hit by a car in downtown El Paso. According to El Paso police, the incident happened just after 3 a.m. by Sano Drive and Santa Fe Street. This was a look at the scene this morning. Now, the Special Traffic Investigations Unit says the man was walking on Santa Fe, not at a crosswalk, when a vehicle hit him. The man died from his injuries, and the investigation is ongoing as of this afternoon. And a 35-year-old El Paso man pleaded guilty in federal court to smuggling children into the U.S. from Mexico. According to the U.S. District Attorney, Manuel Valenzuela pleaded guilty to 4 charges after members of a migrant smuggling organization brought unaccompanied migrant children between the ages of 5 and 13 illegally into the U.S. from Juarez. The members also reportedly gave the children candy laced with THC to sedate them. Officials say they would then present U.S. documents to inspecting officers, falsely claiming the documents belonged to the children. Valenzuela was arrested in August along with 3 others. He faces a minimum of 11 years in prison. And Texas Governor Greg Abbott just announced that he is seeking re-election for a 4th term. Coming up, we're going to go over your thoughts in today's In the Comments segment. Thank you so much for tuning in to KTSM 9+, always putting local first.
Scan to download KTSM Plus free.
Omo with 3.99% APR financing. Catch spooky savings at 6330 Montana.
Back everyone in today's In the Comments segment. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has announced his re-election campaign for a 4th term in Houston Sunday. According to a message shared by his team, Governor Abbott outlined a vision to keep Texas a conservative stronghold. Remember, Abbott was in El Paso almost 3 weeks ago hosting a Get Out to Vote event. He's served 3 terms since 2015, and if he's elected, Abbott would become the longest serving governor in Texas history. We did share this story all over our social media pages, and a lot of you had lots of thoughts you wanted to share with us. So we're going to start off with Christy Guereque, who writes, presidential laws should also apply for state governments. Meanwhile, Ernesto Sosa Isidrio writes, I like Abbott, but a lot of people don't know the whole truth about Abbott. I think we need the governor of Florida to be our governor of Texas. And Jeannie Gassman asks, Texas doesn't have term limits for governor? Now, unlike some states, Texas does not impose any term limits on its governors. Abbott has been the governor for Texas for about a decade. And here at KTSM, of course, we value your opinion, and we definitely want to hear more from you. So make sure you're following us on all of our social media platforms to keep in touch with us through the comments. Well, Apple's got 3 new watches, the SE3, Series 11, and Ultra 3. Up next, Rich DeMero shows us what sets them apart and which one makes most sense for you. This is KTSM 9+.
At m-v-t.com to see how we can help.
Your local weather authority, Robert Bettis, the Borderland's only certified broadcast meteorologist.
Welcome back, everyone. Ready or not, the holiday season is on its way to New York City. The big tree landing in the Rockefeller Center over the weekend, and crews from the center went out to East Greenbush, New York, to cut down the 75-foot spruce tree. This particular tree has stood in the Russ family's yard for more than 6 decades. The tree will eventually be wrapped in more than 50,000 lights and crowned with a Swarovski star before being lit for the first time on December 3rd. So I've always wondered, hold on, so does this tree die at the end of its term?
Well, you can't stick it back in the dirt.
That's so sad.
I'm afraid it's done. I was just thinking the same thing. I'm like, if that tree sat in front of my yard for 6
I wanted
decades,
to stay there.
They're like, we'll give you $1 million. Sold!
No! No, but that's crazy.
You and I look as though we should have those little roll-around bags filled with peanuts.
So funny.
Okay.
I'd almost, what do they call them in English?
Flight attendants?
Flight attendants. I was like, how do you say that?
41 hour low temperature this morning at the International Airport. Of course, last night we had a breeze that kept us from dropping too cold. We do not have that protection tonight. Clear skies. We're going to have much lighter winds. In fact, calm winds earlier in the evening means a colder night overnight tonight. But it certainly was cold enough in some areas. 30 Alamogordo, 30 Ruidoso, 32 Las Cruces, and 32 for Silver City. But we'll be dropping down to 39 at the airport, about 34 down in the valley tonight. Here are the high temperatures so far today. These are not official yet. 66 Van Horn, 69 for us and Juarez, 64 Las Cruces, and 68 for Deming. In Las Cruces right now, it is 63 degrees. So yes, blustery this morning. It was still windy at my house this morning on the west side. Chilly out there, but then as the afternoon went on, as the winds got lighter and lighter, of course, what a gorgeous afternoon. Man, you can't beat this. It's just too good. Well, we're going to wake up again tomorrow and have another cold, clear morning. But by the afternoon, the winds come in from the other direction. They come in from the southwest at about 5 to up to about 20 miles per hour. So that's good to pop us up several degrees. I'm going 79 degrees tomorrow afternoon. Here are the temperatures in your neighborhood right now. Winds light, skies clear. Here comes your exclusive 9-hour forecast for tomorrow. Just a beautiful day. Take today, subtract the chilly winds in the morning and add a few degrees in the afternoon. We'll be at a high of 79, which will be close to 80 tomorrow. Here's your allergy forecast. 9 for Tuesday. It bumps up to the highest number on Wednesday and then back down to 9 again. Here are the low temperatures tonight. 34 Alamogordo, 31 Deming, 39 for Juarez, and 37 for Van Horn. High temperatures tomorrow. 74 Alamogordo, 77 Deming, 80 for Juarez, and 78 for Van Horn. Tonight for you, Las Cruces, 34. Your low temperature tonight. Clear skies, very cold in the morning, and then a gorgeous afternoon. 75 degrees with warm southwesterly breezes. Tonight for us, 39 Airport, 34 down in the valley. Tomorrow, sunshine and 79 degrees. Now, only KTSM gives you 9 full days of weather, and we have some major events coming our way. First of all, tomorrow's Veterans Day, so make sure you thank a veteran tomorrow for his or her service. And then Wednesday, sunshine 80 and beautiful on Thursday. Friday, windy and 82, but those winds turn chilly, clouding up with rain showers coming through. 59 degrees on Saturday for a very winter-like day. Don't go anywhere. More KTSM 9 News coming up in just a moment.
p.m.m.
Welcome back with tech news. All 3 Apple Watch models just got upgrades for 2025. Rich DeMuro shows us what changed in today's Rich on Tech.
For the first time, Apple refreshed all 3 of its Apple Watch models at the same time. You've got the entry-level Apple Watch SE 3, you've got the Series 11, and the Ultra 3. If you're shopping for one this holiday season, here's what makes each model unique. This holiday season, there are 3 new Apple Watches to choose from. The budget-friendly Apple Watch SE 3, the mainstream Series 11, and the top-tier Ultra 3. Here's what makes each one different. First, the SE 3. At $249, it's the most affordable and now has an always-on display, so you can see the screen without tapping or moving your wrist. It can play music through its speaker, charges twice as fast, and uses tougher front glass. It's a popular pick for kids. Just remember, you'll want the cellular model if you plan to text or track them without an iPhone nearby. Next, the Apple Watch Series 11. It starts at $399. It's thinner and lighter, and the screen is twice as scratch resistant. A new 5G antenna on the cellular model should give you a stronger signal in weak areas, and battery life is now up to 24 hours. New this year, hypertension notifications. It won't give you a live blood pressure reading, but it can spot elevated patterns over time and tell you to talk with your doctor. Series 9 and 10 also got this feature in a software update. There's also a new sleep score, rating your rest from 0 to 100, but it doesn't offer coaching or advice. Finally, the Ultra 3. This one costs $799 and includes a 5G antenna. Plus, there's satellite SOS, so you can message for help even without a cellular signal. It has Apple's largest watch display ever, thanks to thinner borders, and you can also see it more easily from any angle. Battery life now stretches to a whopping 42 hours, and the titanium case is now 3D printed using recycled materials. Bottom line, the SE3 is great for kids or first-time users, the Series 11 is best for most people, and the Ultra 3 is built for adventure. Remember to go cellular if you want to text, stream, or use data without your phone. If you're wondering whether these models are worth the upgrade, Apple has a handy comparison tool on its website. You can select the model that you have and the one that you're looking at, and it will show you all of the differences side by side. I think if you're using anything Apple Watch Series 8 or earlier, these new watches are a nice step up. I'll put a link to that tool on my website, richontech.tv. I'm Rich DeMuro. That's Rich on Tech.
Rich, thank you so much. Now I know what to put on my Christmas list. All right, guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this quick break.
For golf. Book your tee time today.
Welcome back, everyone, to KTSM 9+. The Supreme Court has rejected a call to overturn its landmark decision that legalized same-sex marriage nationwide. Former Kentucky County Clerk Kim Davis directly asked the justices to overrule the 2015 landmark decision after a jury awarded damages to a couple whom Davis refused to issue a marriage license. Among the refused couples was David Emerald and David Moore, who sued. Now, Davis was found to have violated a judge's order in another case which required her to keep issuing licenses. Davis was jailed for 5 days. The couple obtained their license, and Kentucky later passed a law enabling clerks to keep their signature off marriage certificates. But Davis kept fighting in court after the couple won $100,000 in emotional distress damages from a jury, plus $260,000 in attorney fees. Well, on Saturday, candidates running for Congress began officially filing to get their name on the ballot for the Texas primary. As a month-long filing period begins, a panel of justices in Texas are deciding if state's newly adopted congressional map is legal. For certain candidates, the decision could drastically change who they are trying to represent, or if they run at all. Dylan McKim spoke with 2 candidates running for a redrawn district about this unique situation.
Candidates serious about representing Texas in Washington, D.C. must take the first step and fill out this application. The deadline is December 8th. It's fast approaching as candidates keep their eyes on what happens with this new map. State Republicans approved this new congressional map to give their party a better chance at picking up 5 new seats in Congress next year. But it's currently being challenged in court. A 3-judge panel in El Paso could decide to temporarily block its implementation. But when that decision will come is unknown.
It is a unique situation.
John Lira is a veteran of the U.S. Marine Corps and a Democrat running for Congress in District 35. It's one of the districts targeted by Republicans to gain more seats in Congress. It favored Donald Trump in 2024 by 10 points. But Lira feels he can still win it for Democrats.
They may have drawn the lines on the map. We're drawing the line in the sand.
I'm Josh Cortez.
And on the other side of the primary is Republican Josh Cortez, who has been campaigning throughout the newly drawn district.
That was a great opportunity for someone like myself who already knew this area to be able to jump in and be able to serve these people well.
But if this map is temporarily blocked by courts, there's a chance the map could revert back to what was drawn at the beginning of the decade. That would change the district from this to this, an area that stretches from Austin down to San Antonio. Neither Lira nor Cortez live in this area. Lira says he's waiting to file based off the court's decision.
My team and I are watching this very closely, and we've kind of war gamed and planned for all the scenarios that we think can come out of this 3-judge panel.
Cortez feels the courts will uphold the new map, and he says he's committed to serving the new 35.
We have made a promise to this people in this area, and that's a plan that we continue to execute on.
Campaigning continues for the 2 men, but they're keeping an eye pointed west as the judges weigh their decision. In Austin, I'm Dylan McKim.
Well, the primary election is scheduled for March 3rd. There is a possibility that Election Day could be moved back in case litigation lasts longer than expected. Meanwhile, amid the shutdown today, New Mexico's lawmakers are heading back to Santa Fe. This as the governor has called another special session, but this time to address SNAP benefits. This comes after the U.S. Supreme Court is granting the Trump administration's emergency appeal to temporarily block a court order to fully fund SNAP food assistance payments. Today, the $30 million in state money allocated for emergency SNAP funding will run out. Both the lieutenant governor and the Senate Republican leader Bill Scher says that it's not fair that state lawmakers have to fund SNAP while Congress squabbles over the shutdown. New Mexico families who depend on SNAP will receive 100% of their benefits for November. Meanwhile, Texas Governor Greg Abbott announced his re-election campaign for a fourth term in Houston on Sunday. According to a message shared by his team, Governor Abbott outlined a vision to keep Texas a conservative stronghold. Remember, Abbott was in El Paso almost 3 weeks ago hosting a Get Out to Vote event. He served 3 terms since 2015, and if he's elected, Abbott would become the longest-serving governor in Texas history. All right, let's talk about our other big headline today, and that is the weather. We've been talking about how cold it's been, but it looks like a big warm-up is headed our way. Robert.
Well, that is true. We are going back to the 80s for a couple of days, but I want you to savor the warmth, splash around in your pool, if you will, because the big one comes on Saturday. Yeah, the big coat will be needed. 69, our high temperature so far today, 70 for Juarez, 64 Las Cruces, 68 Deming, and 63 Alamogordo. Right now at the airport, we're 69 degrees. Winds are calm. What a beautiful afternoon. I hope you dressed in layers because, of course, this morning, very blustery with those chilly breezes. But then by this afternoon, sunshine and not bad at all. Here are the winds. The winds are going to be lighter tonight, so many towns will be just as cold tonight as they were last night. In fact, I think we're actually going to drop down a little bit at the airport this evening. 39 at the airport, about 34 down in the valley. Here's a quick look ahead. Warming up for 3 days. 79 the high temperature tomorrow. I mean, just beautiful for our Veterans Day. And then on Wednesday, 80 degrees. We get a couple of those in a row before the cold air blows in with a chance of rain. I'm going to have that detailed 9-day forecast coming up in just a bit. Monica.
Robert, thank you. Meanwhile, airports across the U.S. are experiencing significant disruptions due to the ongoing shutdown. The Federal Aviation Administration has reduced flights as some air traffic controllers who have gone without pay for weeks have stopped showing up for work. Experts have said that it will take time for flights to go back to normal even after the government reopens.
We don't know when the government fully opens up and what the pay schedules will look like. All I can reference is what happened in 2019, and it took air traffic controllers approximately 2 to 2.5 months to be able to be made whole from all of their compensation. They'll receive some early on compensation based off of previous pay, but then going back in air traffic controllers, then having to weed through paycheck after paycheck to see where they compensated for all the time that was missed.
According to FlightAware, a website that tracks air travel disruptions, some 7,000 flights delays were reported on Sunday alone. More than 1,000 flights were canceled Friday and more than 1,500 on Saturday. Over to our DC newsroom. Big news for women dealing with menopause. Today, the Department of Health and Human Services have announced steps to increase the number of women using hormone therapies. Our DC's Raquel Martin has this story.
The FDA is removing so-called black box warning labels doctors say discourage women from getting the menopause treatments they need.
The FDA is standing with science and standing with women.
The move, led by HHS Secretary RFK Jr., reverses a prior FDA decision to apply warnings to treatments after one 2002 study linked hormone replacement therapy to health problems, including cardiovascular disease, breast cancer, and dementia.
Since that decision, more than 50 million American women have been scared away from treatments that could have eased their suffering and extended their lives.
It's one of the best things I've heard in a while.
Dr. Stephen Fleshman is president of the nation's leading OBGYN organization. He agrees the 2002 study was flawed.
The group of people who were studied were between the ages of 50 and 79 and all lumped together.
He believes removing the black box will make doctors' jobs easier and improve the lives of menopausal women.
Whether it's hot flashes, night sweats, difficulty sleeping, some muscle symptoms, joint symptoms, memory issues. These are all conversations that patients should be having with their provider.
He says patients should still consult with doctors to evaluate their individual risk. A warning label for endometrial cancer for systematic estrogen alone products will remain. In Washington, Raquel Martin.
And as the holidays near, health officials are now warning of illness spreading. Officials warn that illnesses like the flu, RSV, and COVID-19 are all circulating across the state and country. And large gatherings can now increase risks of getting sick. Health officials recommend flu shots for everyone 6 months and older, RSV vaccines for older adults and at-risk groups, and COVID-19 vaccines for those at higher risk. And over to a consumer alert, a warning for parents this afternoon. A baby formula recall. According to health officials, at least 13 babies have been hospitalized, sickened with botulism after consuming whole nutrition infant formula. The formula was manufactured by By Heart Incorporation. Officials say if you have the formula with the 2 lot numbers you see right there on your screen in just a second, throw it away. Health officials say they are still looking into how the contamination happened. And in case you missed it, and as families are struggling to put food on the table, pets are often a casualty of these hard times. KTSM 9 News' Christina Rada explores a special program that is meant to help anyone in need.
We see so many people having to surrender their animals at our animal shelter, not because they don't want them anymore, because they don't love their pets, but because they feel like they can't take care of them or give them the life that they deserve.
5 months ago, the Pet Pantry program was created to alleviate animal hunger in the Borderland.
This is come take what you need.
Take a bag. It's free, no questions asked. So far, more than 50 tons of pet food have been given out.
If people have to make the choice between paying their light bill or putting food on the table or feeding their pet, we want to make that choice easier.
You'll find these pantries at all of the city libraries. There's 14 of them. And since the shutdown, there's been a whole lot more need. People are not just taking pet food, they are also leaving donations of pet food inside the pantry.
We have an excellent supply of donations, and I hope that it's sustainable for the really long term. We want to keep growing the program.
And that was Christina Rada reporting. Now, pet pantries are made possible by the charity Greater Goods, the El Paso Community Foundation, in collaboration with the city of El Paso. Well, coming up, the nation's longest shutdown could soon see an end. Last night, the Senate cleared a key procedural vote. We're going to check in the comments segment and hear what you had to say. Thank you so much for tuning in to KTSM 9 News, putting local first.
Scan to download KTSM
Trevino.
Your local weather authority, Robert Bettis, the Borderland's only certified broadcast meteorologist.
Welcome back, everyone. So if you like hiking and you are looking for a little bit of a challenge, the Franklin Mountain State Park has an event this weekend on Sunday at 8 in the morning to hike the North Franklin Peak Challenge, which takes you to the highest peak in El Paso. It is a bit of a strenuous 8-mile hike, and hikers meet at West Cottonwood Spring Trailhead, so make sure to sign up by calling the number you see right there on your screen. And if you do decide to go, just know that our mornings are getting a little cooler. Wait, hold on. Is that our producer, Elvia? I love the picture. It's really cool. So she actually ended up going this weekend, and she said it was really nice. So she said that it was chilly, it was windy and cold, but she did the whole mile, and she said it was amazing, and it almost inspired her to keep going every other weekend. So guys, if you were thinking, maybe I want to start hiking, I think this is your push. You need to start. I think I'm going to start too.
Does it have to be this particular Sunday?
No. They have a lot more events.
Okay, no. So. Rigorous hikers who like the challenge are going to love the strong, gusty, chilly winds, the clouds, and maybe even a little bit of rain.
In the morning?
Well, hopefully the rain will stop by Sunday. I do believe that. But it's going to be windy and it's going to be chilly. But you know what? Do you love the mountain or not? Let's bear down and get up there. But be careful, please. All right, here's a look at the low temperatures from this morning. 41 in El Paso this morning, a little cooler down in the valley, but not much. 32 Las Cruces, 36 Deming, and 30 in Alamogordo. I think we're going to be colder tonight. Last night, up until midnight, we still had a pretty steady breeze. Well, just the slightest breeze can elevate the temperature. That will not be the case overnight tonight. Here are the highs so far today. 63 Alamogordo, 61 Ruidoso, 50 for Cloudcroft. We've been at 69 and 70 for Juarez. Beautiful afternoon. Let's compare to other towns in the southwest. Look at that. Even far south Texas cooled down. 70 in Brownsville today, 69 Laredo. My goodness, find a coat, they're used to triple digits. 60 Austin and 54 in Dallas. You can see that cool air conditioned the whole state of Texas. 69 is the temperature right now at the International Airport. Dew point 22, 17%. Most important feature, wind calm. Max gust in the last hour, 9 miles per hour. 3 for Juarez and 8 for Las Cruces, so that combo clear after a fairly cool day. 69 today. We're going to drop down again to just above freezing down in the valley tonight. So get ready for another cold night. Here are the temperatures in your neighborhood right now. Tomorrow is going to be a beautiful day. Tomorrow will be better because even though it'll be cold again in the morning, and we won't have those blustery morning winds that were just whipping around and they felt so chilly. High temperature tomorrow popping up close to 80. We should be about 79 degrees with southwesterly breezes at 5 to 20. Allergy forecast 9 tomorrow, then jumping up to 12 on Wednesday. Tonight for you. 34 degrees, Las Cruces. Clear skies, light winds down right along the valley, right at about 32. 75, your high for tomorrow with sunshine, just beautiful. 39, low tonight at the airport, 34 in the valley this evening. And then tomorrow, 79 degrees as we start a little warming trend, cruising in toward the end of the week. Only KTSM gives you 9 full days of weather. Veterans Day will be gorgeous at 79 and then even more beautiful on Wednesday, 80 on Thursday, also light winds. Friday, here come the winds from the southwest, gusting to near 45 to 50 miles per hour. We could see a little bit of a dusty haze that afternoon, warm 82. Then here come those strong blustery winds, clouding up with a chance of rain showers and a high of 59. That'll be a winter-like day on Saturday. Sunday, partly cloudy. The chilly winds will make it feel colder than 62, but that should be our high. 69 on Monday, and there we could touch 32 that morning in the valley. Back to cloudy skies in the 60s. A couple of drops possible on Wednesday. Monica.
Robert, thank you. Let's go ahead and take you outside now using our tech stock cameras. This is what it looks like. So you are seeing I-10 Schuster. Things are moving quite nicely, actually, in both directions. There isn't a lot to slow you down, I will say. I am seeing a little bit of those utility vehicles out there, so hopefully no closures. But other than that, I-10 Trans Mountain, a big 2 thumbs up. All right, let's go ahead and move over to our In the Comments segment. So there is a glimmer of hope in Washington today that the nation's longest shutdown could soon come to an end. Last night, the Senate cleared a key procedural vote that could lead to the government reopening. And the agreement would hold a later vote on extending Affordable Care Act tax credits that expire on January 1st, which is the reason Democrats have held out from reopening the government. Final passage of the Senate bill could be several days away if any Senate Democrats object and delay the process. We did share this story all over social media accounts, and lots of you had lots of thoughts you wanted to share. So we're going to start off with Joshua Eaton, who says, just imagine all the money we could save if there were term limits for those serving in Congress and they didn't keep receiving congressional pay after their time in office is over. Jeremy Fletcher says, look at all the angry reactions. Mad that the government shut down, mad that it's opening. And Frankie B. Lyons writes, that's Senate. What about the hijackers in Congress or House? They should be removed. And if it passes the Senate, the House would have to approve the bill. Coming up in our next half hour, we're going to talk about so much more on what's going on in Washington. And here at KTSM, of course, we value your opinion and we definitely want to hear more from you. So make sure you're following us on all of your social media platforms to keep in touch with us through the comments. Don't go anywhere. We have a lot more to share with you right after this break.
Segment sponsored by Emergence Health Network.
Hello everyone, it's time for another Mindful Monday and we're talking about mental health in the workplace. Lupita's here to give us all the information we need. So what do we mean by this and why is it important?
Well, it's important because healthy work life and work balance is important for our mental health, for our physical health, just across the board.
So what is work burnout?
Well, burnout can be chronic stress that's affecting you physically, emotionally, and you can imagine it'll affect every area of your life.
Okay, and why is this a bad thing, obviously?
Well, it can impact your productivity, whether or not you show up to work, how you're treating clients, how you're treating coworkers, and then just overall, it's not healthy for you.
Okay, and finally, how can we help a coworker or even recognize when we're experiencing it?
I think definitely just open the lines of communication, making supervisors aware that that culture is important to have in the workplace, and being able to talk about it.
All righty, Lupita, thank you very much. We'll see you guys next week.
Segment sponsored by Emergence Health Network.
Card. Go to KTSM.com today. Serving those who serve. Sponsored by GECU.
Here's a last look at your exclusive 9-day forecast. Tomorrow, 79 degrees, light winds, sunshine, beautiful day. We've got a stretch of 80s coming our way again. Wednesday, 80, Thursday, 80, 82 Friday. Notice the chilly, gusty winds and rain showers on Saturday with a high of 59. A very winter-like feel that day. Sunday, still chilly winds hanging around with a high of 62, and then we'll slowly warm back up. Monica.
Robert, thank you so much, and thank you for tuning in to KTSM 9 Plus. I'm Monica Cortez. See you all tomorrow. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hair and wardrobe provided by